Usually whenever I see people talking about the older Naruto games, Ultimate Ninja is always considered to be the best series out of all of them, and I understand why. Ultimate Ninja has amazing gameplay, amazing animations that still hold up to this day, which is amazing considering it's a PS2 game. And clearly the developers or Bandai Namco, whoever it is that's in charge of the Naruto games, clearly agreed also, because now we have Ultimate Ninja Storm, and that is an Ultimate Ninja game. And it's the only form of Naruto games that's still around, excluding Shinobi Strikers, but that's kinda deadish at this point, so I guess we still only have Storm. And what I find odd is that almost nobody ever brings up Clash of Ninja, which I find odd considering Clash of Ninja came out before Ultimate Ninja, and I think it's great. I think they're fun games, I think they're really enjoyable. And I did play Ultimate Ninja as a kid with my cousins, however I always found Clash of Ninja to be way more enjoyable. So that got me thinking, is Clash of Ninja as good as I remember it was? Or is nostalgia and time clouding my opinion on it? So that's why I decided to go back and play through the entire series. I will be covering Clash of Ninja 1, 2, 3, and 4. However, as a quick disclaimer, we never got Clash of Ninja 3 and 4 in the West. At least not in the GameCube. Eventually we did get 3 and 4 as Clash of Ninja Revolution 1 and 2 for the Wii. Now, to my understanding, Revolution 1 and 2 is pretty much 3 and 4 with some slight changes, and since I don't speak Japanese and I don't want to go and get a translation for the game, we'll just be using Revolution 1 and 2 instead. Oh, and as another quick disclaimer, all these games will be played using an emulator.
Naruto, Clash of Ninja.
So, starting off with Clash of Ninja 1, this covers the Land of Waves arc, and only the Land of Waves arc, which heavily limits what content the game can have. The game has your basic modes, 1 player, 2 player, survival mode, time mode. It even has a training mode, which is pretty good. You can even see your high scores and which characters you play as the most in the options menu, which is small, but it's a nice thing to have. Now, the character roster is pretty small, and well, considering how this is only covering the Land of Waves arc, I can't really blame them, but it's still kind of disappointing. I mean, you would really love to see more characters on this roster. And the 7 characters we have access to are Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, Kakashi, Iruka, Zabuza, and Haku. There are 3 other unlockable characters, but I won't be covering them until the end of the story mode, and you'll see why. The story begins with scrolling text quickly and very loosely summarizing the events of Naruto up until it gets to Multi Shadow Clone Jutsu. This story is told in a visual novel way with portraits of the characters speaking, which change to reflect what the character is saying. Every character is voiced by the original anime dub voice actors, and the quality of voice acting is on par with the anime.
You know, this is only the beginning of your journey. The road gets tougher now that you're a ninja. Alright then, let me test you one more time to see if you can actually make it as a ninja.
No way!
While celebrating Naruto learning the Multi-Shadow Clone Jutsu, Iruka tests Naruto one more time to see if he can make it as a ninja. With that, we experience gameplay for the first time, and for being the first game in the series, this feels pretty good. You get 2 attack buttons, one being a weak attack and the other being a strong attack, as well as a dedicated grab button and super button. Combos function as auto combos with the direction you hold changing how the combo flows. The strong attack button usually consists of a couple jutsus and for throwing shuriken or kunai. For such a simple control scheme, there's a decent amount of variety here. You can charge shurikens to inflict more damage, perform counters, use jutsus like Naruto's Grand Uppercut. Of course, you can block by holding back or just by standing still. You do have a chakra meter, which can be used for secret techniques or ultimates, whatever you want to call them, or to substitute out of an attack. Similar to Tekken or similar games like Soul Calibur, you can use the triggers to dodge left and right. You can juggle opponents and attack them while they're down, which feels pretty satisfying. The whole combat system is really easy to understand, and even though most characters play the same, they do have a few things to help them stand out from the rest. Some quick examples are Sakura having a kunai combo, Kakashi being able to charge his lightning blade, and Zabuza's sword. Okay, going back to the story, after we defeat Iruka, we end up being challenged by Sasuke and Sakura, and these fights are not that difficult, and that's kind of a trend with this game. None of the fights are challenging, and after defeating Sasuke and Sakura, we get challenged by Kakashi. So after we defeat Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi, we immediately arrive at the bridge to have a battle with Haku. I can understand skipping the fight with the Demon Brothers, since they hardly count as a fight in the manga and anime, but skipping the first fight with Zabuza in the forest is a little odd. I guess they wanted to save him as the final boss, but with how short the story is, I wouldn't have said no to an extra Zabuza fight. Back on the bridge, Naruto tells Haku about his dream about being Hokage, and Haku tells Naruto that he doesn't want to destroy him, but will do it anyways. And so the fight starts. And I have to mention the music, because Haku's theme is pretty catchy. And the same goes for most songs in this game. In fact, the music you've been hearing so far is all from the game. And while some songs are better than others, they all have their own good parts. Anyways, once we beat Haku, we get some dialogue with Zabuza, and everybody one by one tells Zabuza how ready they are to fight him. And we end up doing just that, we fight Zabuza. And I wish at least one of these two battles would have been with Naruto in this Ninetales mode, since it was pretty cool when Naruto did that in the anime, but oh well. Once Zabuza is defeated, he accepts defeat, and we don't get to see what happens next. We just skip forward to being back in the Leaf Village. And then suddenly, Rock Lee shows up and challenges Sasuke to a fight. Nice, I guess we get to play as Sasuke as a final bonus battle. And Naruto tells Lee he should fight him instead. Alright, well, the game is called Naruto, so we fight Lee, and there's not really much I can say about it. And with that, we wrap things up with Sakura asking Sasuke to go on a date with her. Of course, Sasuke rejects her, and then Naruto gets rejected by Sakura. The credits use its own version of the anime's first ending song, Wind. I really prefer this version over the anime's, but maybe that's just because I'm not a big fan of the vocals. At the end of the credits, we unlock Rock Lee as a reward for beating the story, and Lee is one of the 3 unlockable characters I mentioned earlier. The other 2 are Kakashi with the Sharingan, Naruto with his Ninetales? If Ninetales Naruto is in the game, why didn't we get to play as him at least once in the story? It would have been nice to fight Haku again with the Ninetales, because if you're playing this game, chances are you're a fan of the anime or manga, and that's exactly what happens in the story. Even if you wanted to keep him as a secret unlockable, you could have still at least let us play as him once and kept him locked in other modes. I think my biggest problem with Clash of Ninja 1 story mode is just how short it is. The game's story ends up being around 25 minutes, which is pretty short, and I don't doubt you could beat this game in around 15 minutes with the cutscenes included. And the lack of variety kinda makes it feel unfinished, like the game was a proof of concept. There could have been at least one fight where we played as Sasuke or Kakashi. Besides that, I do think this game is still worth a try, especially if you're feeling nostalgic for pre-Shippuden Naruto, or just want to see how the Clash of Ninja games started out. And apart from that, there's not much I can say about Clash of Ninja 1. I know it's the first game in the series, but man, it kinda feels empty.
Naruto, Clash of Ninja 2.
Remember how I just said Clash of Ninja 1 felt like a proof of concept? Well, this game makes it feel like that was the case. Clash of Ninja 2 makes the first game feel like a demo for Clash of Ninja 2. You know, back when Walmart had the game demos in the game section, Clash of Ninja 2 improves on everything, and I mean everything. A lot of the previous modes do make a return, but now multiplayer mode goes up to 4 players, which I really like since we don't get to see that at all in modern Storm games. Apart from Storm Revolution, but that mode is a weird point system, and it's single player only for some reason, so it doesn't really count. There's even now a shop where you can unlock characters and other little extras like model viewers. And speaking of characters, the entire roster of the first game is back, including the unlockable characters like Lee, Sharingan Kakashi, and Ninetales Naruto. Since this game covers the Land of Waves arc and the Chunin Exams arc, we get an even bigger roster this time. The new characters are Sharingan Sasuke, Shikamaru, Kiba, My Guy, Neji, Akamaru for some reason, Hinata, Ino, Crow on his own, again for some reason, and Kankuro, Orochimaru, and Gaara. You can even see Kankuro accompanying him. I mean, why is Crow in here? And I'm not entirely sure if he counts as his own character, but you can also play as Mizuki whenever you select Iruka, so all 0 of you Mizuki fans can enjoy that. Now, let's get into the story mode. Clash of Ninja 2 starts the same way as the first game did, but it covers the Chunin Exams too. Since the beginning of the story is pretty much exactly like the first game, I'll only mention the differences. The fight with Kakashi is now 3v1, and the fight with Haku is now 2v1, which is a good way of shaking things up. And the next fight we get is with Haku again, but apparently the devs also thought about how cool it would be to play as Ninetales Naruto in this fight, so they put it in. Next we get a 3v1 with Zabuza, and the fight is Sharingan Kakashi right after. And that's it, we finish the Land of Waves arc. Oh, and we do get to fight Rock Lee, of course. And I wrote the script for Clash of Ninja 1 before I played Clash of Ninja 2, and it feels like everything I asked for was answered. There really doesn't seem to be any reason to play the first game when Clash of Ninja 2 does it so much better and has a longer story mode. Continuing the story, Rock Lee challenges Sasuke to a fight, and he gets bodied unlike he does in the anime. The next fight takes place during the Forest of Death arc, and Orochimaru wants to test Sasuke's powers, and he's saying some weird stuff that, would get him some allegations nowadays.
Sasuke Uchiha, if you please, would you mind showing me your powers?
So we all jump him and we win. But despite the allegations, Orochimaru is fully committed to following the path of the YouTuber.
To fight like that at your age, it was a pleasure seeing your powers at work.
So he bites Sasuke and gives him the curse mark. After that, those 3 guys you saw in the anime but can't remember their names at all summoned a bunch of clones that we have to fight, and this is a nice change of pace. Destroying a clone usually results in them dropping health or a power up, and the targeting system seems to know who you want to hit most of the time, but sometimes it just picks the wrong person or nobody at all for some reason. And after that, we skip straight to the prelims, and our first fight is Sakura against Ino. And just like the anime and manga, there's not a whole lot you can say about this fight. It just happens. The next match is Naruto vs Kiba and his little mutt. And Kiba's dog, Akamaru, calmly walks around while I beat his owner to near death, but sometimes he does bite my head when I'm down, so I'm fully justified when I do this to him. After that, we get Neji versus Hinata, and Neji tells Hinata that she should forfeit because he won't hold back, but she doesn't, and we get the match anyways. This fight was a little difficult, and I did end up losing a few times. I guess Neji wasn't lying, but after a couple tries, he does go down. But of course, it doesn't matter because Hinata loses anyway in the story, so we lose when we win. And now we get to Lee versus Gaara, and this has to be the most frustrating part of the game. I lost so many times to Gaara that I had to take a break. I get why this fight should be difficult, but the AI clearly reads your inputs when you press them, so you end up getting countered so easily. An example would be that whenever I would throw Gaara in the air, he would substitute the moment I pressed any attack button. It doesn't matter if it would have hit him or not. So sometimes I would just let him fall. And after I lost for what felt like 50 times, I finally beat Gaara. Now we're finally at the Chunin finals, with the first match being Naruto versus Neji. And the fight is pretty easy, and it goes by fast. I mean, that's kind of weird how we have an extremely difficult match and then a pretty easy one right after. That's kind of odd. And after this fight, we get Sasuke versus Gaara, and this goes so much better. I think they toned down the difficulty of Gaara's AI for this fight, but it could also just be that we're playing a Sasuke, and Sasuke's way cooler and just a much better character than Rock Lee. And once we beat Gaara, Kankuro shows up and takes Gaara away, and Sasuke chases them, and upon catching up with them, he calls them the Sand Gang.
I don't know what you and your Sand Gang have up your sleeve.
And clearly Gaara didn't like that, so he starts going schizo and jumps Sasuke with Kankuro. But like I said, we're Sasuke, so this isn't even an issue. And after the fight, Gaara starts to go more insane, and Sasuke's curse mark starts acting up. So of course, Naruto shows up to save the day. This fight is a little easier than the first Gaara fight as Lee, and I only say that because eventually I realized I can just get the life lead and just run away. You can just do this for any fight. You can just get life lead and run away. I mean, you auto block things by standing still. I mean, this is too easy. And once we win, Naruto gives Gaara the Takano Jutsu, and this jutsu is so powerful that Gaara vows to end any gang-related activities he was participating in. And the game ends with Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura talking about how they didn't get to become Chunin, and Sasuke teases Naruto that he isn't as strong. The end credits consist of clips from the anime and an original song made for the game. Overall, this game feels like what Clash of Ninja 1 should have been. It improves on everything while offering so much more, and I know there's gonna be a few people who have played this before wondering why I'm not showing the extra story missions. I don't really think these missions are worth talking about. Yes, they do have a little story, but I don't think it's really worth going into. It is neat that it has it and it does extend the game's playtime, but it is just extra stuff. I know I did say I was going to cover the whole Clash of Ninja series, and I was going to. I was going to cover Revolution 1 and 2 in this video also. But then, after seeing how long this video is with only 1 and 2, at least by my standards, I did play Revolution 1 somewhat by now, by the end of making this video, and so far, this game is far bigger than I thought it was going to be, so I have to split this up. So I will be making a follow-up video where I will play Revolution 1 and 2. And I do know there's more Clash of Ninja games. There's like Revolution EX, what it's called. It's like the Naruto Shippuden games. I'm not sure if I'll cover those because, these are just Japanese releases. But I mean, if people want it enough, I'll also cover those. But I guess we'll know when we get there. But yeah, this is my first ever game review, if you exclude the Roblox JoJo game review I made years ago. And that was a Roblox game, I'm not sure if it counts. I know as far as reviews go, this is not the best review ever. I'm sure you can find better reviews for Naruto or just in general, but this is my first attempt at this type of video, and I do want to get better at it as time goes on, so hopefully this isn't too bad. If you did enjoy the video, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe please. Please, I really want to get to 400. Please, I'm begging you. But besides that, yeah, thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.